Dillian. Own your money. Own your life.
I'm Jared Dillian. This is the Jared Dillian Show. If you want to call to talk about your money, please call 844-305-7800. That's 844-305-7800. This is the Jared Dillian Show. So back at the beginning of the year, I was encouraged to make some predictions for 2020. And I did so very reluctantly because these one-year predictions they usually turn out to be just incredibly bad, like just horrific. And you just look really foolish. And this is what these strategists do with the Wall Street firms. They have to, put a price target on the S&P. Well, I think the S&P is going to be at 2,800, and it just goes horribly wrong. And they put price targets on, the 10-year Treasury note and the price of gold and stuff like that. And it's really hard to predict out a year, and it's hard. It's hard. So anyway, at the beginning of the year, I gave my predictions for the year. And I'm really bad at those sorts of things. And the whole purpose of predictions is to make fun of people when their predictions go wrong. So the good news is that you will be able to make fun of me. I have no edge here. I suck. So in the spirit of sucking, let's go through the list. Did I have 10 predictions? I had 12 predictions. My 12 predictions for 2020. The first one was that gold will outperform stocks by 40%. This one actually worked out pretty good. It's not 40%, it's about 20%. But if you go back to, in the middle of the crisis, it was about 40%. And gold has done really well. So that's actually not a bad prediction. That's actually pretty good. And the reason I made that prediction was because stocks were a bubble, running huge deficits. We have radical politics. The dollar was weakening. It's going to be a big year for gold, and it's been a big year for gold, so that was a pretty good prediction. Number two, I said it was also going to be a big year for commodities. Has not been a big year for commodities. The price of oil went negative. Agricultural commodities are starting to perk up a little bit. Corn and wheat are starting to perk up a little bit, but it has not been a big year for commodities. In fact, it's been a pretty terrible year for commodities, and a lot of people are waiting for inflation, for commodity prices to go up. It just never happens. This is the best one. You ready for this one? Number three, we will not have a recession. We will have the beginnings of a recession. Of course, we had one of the worst recessions of all time. Unemployment got up to like 11%. The market crashed. See, this is why predicting stuff is stupid, because, how could you predict that we were going to have the coronavirus? Now, if the coronavirus didn't happen, this probably would have been an okay prediction. And what I meant by we will have the beginnings of a recession was that the economic data will just start to get worse before the end of the year. So, that's me. I don't want to go into the alternate history timeline, but maybe that would have worked out okay. But we clearly had a recession. This is another good one. Oil prices will probably go up a lot. It went negative. Oh, my God. Anyway, number five. This is a non-market related prediction. The number of vegans in this country will go up by 3 times or more. I was recognizing the start of a new trend, plant-based diets. This is going to explode. That's what I said. And, it's been a big year for Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat got up to $189 a share today. It's an $11 billion market cap. So, I think this is actually trending towards that direction. Number 6, the Fed will cut rates more. And I got that one right. The Fed cut rates a lot. I said at the time that nobody believes this is possible, so it's going to happen, and Trump will continue to beat up on the Fed, and that's exactly what happened. Number 7, long-term interest rates won't move much at all, and of course they went down a lot. The long bond is at 1.6% now. The 10-year Treasury note is at 0.8%. I said at the time, if you're worried about mortgage rates, they might go up a little bit, but probably not much. Of course, mortgages are now as cheap as they've ever been. Here's another great prediction. You're going to love this one. Number 8, Trump or Bernie Sanders will be president. And of course, it's there's a good chance it's going to be none of the above, neither Trump nor Bernie Sanders. What I said at the time was that Trump is crazy, and the only person who can beat him is someone crazier. To my credit, Bernie Sanders almost got it. He did. So the good news is that he is not going to be running again. So that is the good news. This one turned out okay. Number 9, the auto market will fall apart maybe this year, maybe next year. And it did, of course, during the recession, it did fall apart. And I said at the time, that's probably the start of the recession when people start defaulting on auto loans. Default rates are already pretty high. They'll skyrocket. And 9A, I said the automakers will get bailed out again. And, of course, they did get bailed out again. But at the time, I was looking at a long-term chart of Ford, and it was a disaster. Not really good for the automakers, and plus now we have Tesla, so who knows what's going to happen with that. Number 10, energy stocks will do the best and tech stocks will do the worst. It was the exact opposite. Tech stocks did the best and energy stocks did the worst. And what I said was that ESG was going to be a disaster and that all the bad stocks were going to do well this year. And the exact opposite happened. This is terrible. Non-market prediction here, number 11, people will finally get sick of superhero movies. Of course, now nobody can watch superhero movies, so maybe that's a win. And this one I got, number 12, higher education starts to roll over and colleges go bankrupt, and that's absolutely happening. It would have happened anyway, but the coronavirus speeded it along, so that ended up being a pretty good prediction. So I would say I'm about 6 out of 12 here, but the 6 that I got right were really, really right, and the 6 that I got wrong were just unbelievably bad. And that's what happens when you try to make predictions for the next year. So I guess I'm going to have to make predictions for 2021 coming up soon, and I'm really not looking forward to it. I hate making predictions. Nobody ever gets credit when it goes right. They just get crapped on when it goes wrong. I'm Jared Dillian. This is The Jared Dillian Show.
The Jared Dillian Show.